All right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. It's for Tuesday, September 9th, just 32 days to go. Yep, wait, it's 32? 31. 31 days to go. So, yep, we're just like a month away from hockey. Finally, all right, so not a whole lot going on, but we'll keep you up to pace with everything. And we'll start off with announcing a trade that just came down late Monday evening. And I found this interesting. Uh, Indiana sends Boston Bird to the Blue Ridge Bobcats for cash considerations. Now, Bird was someone that Indiana seemed very excited about signing. Bird was he played in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, had 110 points in 101 games played. So he seems to have a good offensive knack. And well, Blue Ridge really wanted him, so they got him. I'm just a little surprised. I'm surprised that Indiana gave up Bird just for cash considerations. But hey, there's all sorts of interesting trades that take place in the FPHL. So it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, Boston Bird now. That's a great name, by the way. That's going to be like what was it back years ago? I played for the Oakland A's, Coco Crisp. This is one of those names, Boston Bird and Coco Crisp. But anyway, so that's that. All right, this is news. It's not earth-shattering, but it is something that is interesting. We've talked about earlier this summer about how some teams have signed affiliation agreements. Some with APHL teams, a couple now with the GMHL, the Greater Metro Hockey League, which is primarily in and around Toronto. It is Tier 2 Junior A. So the Biloxi Breakers have an affiliation agreement with the Tottenham Railers of the GMHL. Now, this isn't anything that has a huge impact on Biloxi. It has more of an impact on Tottenham, really. But quite a few players have come from Tottenham. They've played there somewhere in their past and then have later joined the Fed. So the fact that now there is an exclusive agreement with Biloxi, that's pretty good. This just basically means that for players that are playing in Junior A, they have a more direct, potentially a more direct line to professional hockey. And so here we go. Biloxi, God forbid they run into some problems with injuries or suspensions or call-ups or whatever. They can call Tottenham and said, hey, you got a guy? We could use somebody. So, and it does look good as well for Tottenham and the other GMHL teams that have now an agreement with some of the Fed teams. So, there you go. All right, we had a few signings over the last 3-4 days. Just want to highlight some of the major ones. We'll skip down here. Go with Biloxi first, since we're talking about Biloxi. They signed Noah Chambers, forward, who played last year with the Flint Lumberjacks of the APHL. And they also signed Isaac Enright, defenseman. This is big because one area that I think Biloxi is still lacking on its roster is a solid group of defensemen. Enright played 164 games in the OHL, which, if you don't know, that is major juniors. That's like, that's the juniors that players get drafted to the NHL. So obviously not everybody, but that you're playing with some players that end up in the NHL. So you got to be pretty darn good to play in the OHL. So Enright will be joining the club, and I know that Biloxi is very excited about that. The PD Ice Cats, they signed Eli Rivers. They had traded for him a couple weeks back, and he is now signed 59 points in 56 games with the Motor City Rockers. He was one of the Rockers' top players last year, and originally got selected to go to Topeka. Topeka traded him to PD, and there we go. So, yeah, Eli Rivers is ready to go for the Ice Cats. That'll be a nice addition to their offense. The Binghamton Black Bears, they signed forward Mac Jansen, the second SPHL player in the span of a week that they signed. Jansen had 6 years in with the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, was captain of the team. He had 235 points in 290 games played over 6 years. So Binghamton getting a solid veteran leader on the team. All right, so the Columbus River Dragons, they signed Ryan Hunter. He is coming back. He obviously has performed very well offensively, 127 points in under 100 games with the River Dragons. So that is a huge offensive boost. And then as we look at the Athens Rock Lobsters, they did sign Dawson Baker, who they just obtained in the trade with Carolina. He's played very well with Carolina, 177 points in 145 games in his career with Carolina. They also signed Luke Luke Croucher, who played the last 4 years with Newman University, D3, had 70 points in 96 games played. Very nice career there. Turning pro this year. Let's see who else we have. The Port Huron Prowlers signed Matt Gellerman, a forward out of Hamilton College, which also is D3, had a very solid 4-year career at Hamilton. And then the Zydeco. There's 3 players we need to talk about. First, defenseman Cole Ouellette, who was a standout with the University of Southern Maine, also played for the NAHL's Maine Nordiques before his college career. So he had a very solid career. He's not a flashy guy. He's just an all-around anchor type of person on the blue line. So that will be a very welcome addition to the Zydeco, as will a couple of forwards. Santeri Salminen, a Finnish player, played. He was a point per game player with Suomi I guess it's pronounced Sarja. I'm not really familiar with European leagues, that are not top tier, but he had some very good numbers there. Also, they signed. I hope I pronounce this right. Renee Heike. Let's see, Renee. First name is Renee. Heike Patel. Heike Patel. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Was a teammate of Salminen for a bit. Also spent some time in the Germany 4 League. I know some other players from the Fed have played in the Germany 4 either before or after their time in the Fed. So that wraps up our signings. There's really not much else going on at the moment. But that gets us caught up on things. A couple things I want to talk about in regards to the Fed League Flash. First of all, this coming Saturday here on YouTube is my first interview talking with my friend Bob Howard. And we're talking about a lot of things such as salaries, the salary cap, expansion, the expansion drafts, the status of contracts, some interesting things that go on behind the scenes with the FPHL. We had a very good conversation, and I invite you to tune into that. That's just the first of hopefully about one a month interviews that I'm going to be doing, although I do hope to get 2 more in before the season starts, and then we'll pare it down to about 1 a month. Got to make a couple calls to get my next couple of guests arranged, but I know who I want to speak with, so hopefully that works out. Also, I decided this year I wanted to kind of streamline things a little bit. As you know, I've been doing things here on YouTube, on Facebook, and I also have the Flash Audio Network, which seems like it's becoming a bit antiquated. I know that there's not a lot of you that tune into it. Yeah, I've seen the numbers, and it's a nice platform to use and have, but I thought really everything that I do on Flash Audio Network, I could do, instead of on audio form, I could just do in printed form on Facebook. So I'm going to be eliminating the Flash Audio Network and just going with YouTube and Facebook. It's going to be a lot easier and a lot more time efficient for me. And besides that, I think a lot more of you pay attention to the Facebook page than due to the audio network. So we're going to retire the audio format. That's how I began. It was a great stepping stone, but I think it's time to let it go. So we're just going to be here on YouTube. Please hit like and subscribe. And on Facebook. Make sure you're following me on Facebook. That is where I print everything as it happens, so you can keep up to date with what's going on. And, you know, here on YouTube, we just kind of talk about it and delve into it a little deeper. So that is that. All right, so that is our change for this page for the Fed League Flash. All right, and that does it for today. The next thing we'll have, if there is any kind of major update necessary, I'll print something up later in the week on Facebook, kind of as a separate thing. But for the most part, I think I'm just going to keep going with news. And then once we get into the season, I'll be putting stuff on Facebook like every other week. I'll do power rankings, do my predictions and picks, and previews for the games. Put that all on Facebook. And again, it'll just be a little bit easier and more efficient for me. So there we go. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if we don't see you before then, we hopefully will see you on Saturday for my first interview, first actual formal working interview. And I think it's a very good discussion. I think it's very interesting. I hope you'll find it to be so as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful week.